Okay, welcome to the competition of the PRP Startup Innovation Awards 2021. And today we'll learn about new technologies and new solutions in the area of e-commerce, retail, and cross-border. My name is Bernhard Buckhoffs. I'm managing the Postal Innovation Platform, and I'll guide you through today's meeting. Some of you already have participated for the previous categories. We had already first and last mile on 10th of June. We had processes, digital and data on 15th of June. And today, as I just mentioned, we are talking about e-commerce, retail, and cross-border. For those who haven't participated yet, all the startups will have 8 minutes. So what we proposed is that each startup pitches for 4 minutes, and then for 4 minutes Q&A and discussion with the judges. Again, my message to the startups: the judges want to learn about your solutions. They want to discuss with you. They have very particular questions that might be related to their organizations, to the implementation, to some very specific needs that they have. So please really stay within the 4 minutes or less. In any case, you'll have 8 minutes, and there should be this time for discussion. It would be a pity if that's lost. At the end of the pitches, the judges will retreat if you want to have their non-public private discussion. And during this discussion, they'll choose the 3 startups that will be chosen as finalists for the finals at Parcel and Post Expo in Vienna. And it will take place on 12th of October in the afternoon, for your information. The startups which are pitching today are Hurricane, TradeTrip, Airmail Data, Create, HelloDone, and Countercheck. And the judges are Thierry Golliard, he is the Director Open Innovation and Venturing at Swiss Post, and he's also the chair of the judging panel. We have Marc, Sarmiento, Head of Research and Innovation at Austrian Post. We have Elmar Toime of Toime Consulting, former CEO of New Zealand Post and member of the Supervisory Board of DHL, now Supervisory Board of Qatar Post. Gustavo, Damy is Innovation and Partnership Development at the Universal Postal Union, UPU. We have André Pharand, Global Managing Director, Postal, Parcel and Last Mile at Accenture. We have Christian Oestergaard, he's Senior Group Strategist of IT Production, IoT and AI at PostNord. And Joao Melo, Innovation Management, CTD Correios de Portugal. So welcome all to the startups, and welcome as well all the judges. And of course also welcome to all the participants on the YouTube live stream. Before I hand over to the chair of the judging panel for some comments, I'll also like to thank our sponsors of this startup competition, which are Swiss Post, Austrian Post, and of course Postal and Post Expo. Now, I mentioned it already, the next to take the floor will be the chair of the judging panel. Thierry, you have already chaired 2 judging panels now for the first 2 categories. And it was quite tough, at least it was quite tough to choose the three finalists in each one of those. Any message that is important you think you want to make to the startups before they start pitching?
Yes, so first let me say that it's great to meet you all again for this third and last selection session. I'm actually absolutely sure it will be as exciting as the previous ones of last week, exciting for both sides actually, because this competition is great for the postal companies to get outside-in insights, but also on the other hand for the startups to get relevant business feedbacks. And therefore, to your question, Bernhard, my message to the startup is grab the chance to exchange today with executive experts, but also letting enough time, and you mentioned that, Bernhard, at the end of your pitches for a proper Q&A. That's important. And that was maybe my little tip. And now the floor is actually led to the startup. So good luck to all participants. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thierry. Good. First startup, Hurricane.
Thank you, Bernhard, and thank you, everybody, for the opportunity to present Hurricane. And good luck to all our co-entrants as well. So hopefully you should be able to see my screen.
We can.
At this moment in time. I'll just put it into presentation mode. Hopefully that's all okay. Okay, so Hurricane Modular Commerce, again, thank you very much for the opportunity to present. about Hurricane, we're really about sort of like simplifying the complex in this increasingly scalable, high volume, complex cross-border world. We founded the business in 2016, so we just fall within your startup criteria. We're venture capital and private equity funded and growing at immense pace at this moment in time. We're a global partner for cross-border e-commerce data provision. We utilize true AI, serverless architecture, high volume transactions in real time, lightning quick. We're multilingual and we're multi currency technology platform. Despite being quite a youthful company, we are actually run by a bunch of grey hairs. With a team of C++ executives, of which some of you on the judging panel will know from previous lives, with 250 years odd experience from e-commerce, logistics, technology, compliance, and postal operations. Our current customer portfolio includes people like the Royal Mail, Seiko Logistics outside of the postal portfolio, Australia Post, Emirates Post, and Ampost. And we're also a cross-border partner for the IPC through the Dynamic Merchant Platform and the UPU through their CDS, their Customs Declaration System. So when we started this business, we came at it, what's the problem in the market? The problem is scale, volume, complexity, and digitization around data. You can look at some of those elements on the screen. Brexit, driven by data. Stop Act, exporting into the US, driven by data. ICS2, customs entry requirements into the EU through the postal channels, came live on March the 15th of this year, all to do with data. iOS coming in July the 1st. What's the driving point behind payment, so on and so forth? It's around the classification of your goods, and that is around data. And there's also the compliance elements in trading cross-border, from denied parties to prohibited and restricted, so on and so forth. We have basically a range of various different products, ultimately modular for our postal customers, and they can fall into two main buckets. One is from an operational context. So one customer we utilize, we take all of their nightly manifest, we cleanse that data and translate that data of up to 500,000 items per evening, and translate that data and cleanse that data for the purpose of customs entry with 10-digit import codes and correct product descriptions for customs. So that's really an operational context. And in another context, another postal customer of ours use it as a revenue model. So they use that our services through their own shipping platform to deploy stuff as duty and tax in carts, perform denied party scans, and prohibited and restricted scans. And that all operates in real time. So one transaction with all of those elements can take round about 120 milliseconds. So we've taken a lot of the heavy lift out of cross-border processes. So new world, my overall summary would be successful posts will be those ones that compete and win in the cross-border e-commerce war. It's a market that is growing at 60% year on year. It has a gross merchandise value of $1.2 trillion and is one of those markets that has really slingshotted through the pandemic. The new saying is everything is driven by the data. It's all about your first mile, your first file, and your last mile. Complete and valid data is mandatory now, so there's a huge compliance impact. We've utilized our technology, and it is AI driven. It's real-time data solutions, which has a unit cost impact, operational efficiency and effectiveness impact, and you can also use it as a retention tool to deploy to your customers. And what we've also found as well is that customers that have utilized our services are getting reduced returns because there's no doorstop surprise, there's no surprise invoices to consignees because they're shipping delivered duty paid, and that obviously has an environmental impact as well in the whole end-to-end supply chain. And really those posts that are adopting our services are really sort of like having a game-changing impact on their unit cost, their operational efficiency, and their customer retention. So thank you very much for your time, and I'll open the floor to questions.
Oh, it's up to the judging panel now to ask questions to Martin. Please.
I can't hear anybody, Bernard. Is there any questions?
So far, there was no question. I think the
Okay.
judges are waiting. Who wants to go first? So
Can I go first?
please, anybody.
Okay,
Just
because
speak up,
I had
please.
already started, but my micro was muted. So my question is, if I have well understood, these APIs are used by the entities that interface with the customs to send goods and things across the borders. This solution of yours requires any development on the custom side. I'm asking this because in Portugal, it's very tricky to ask our customs to do any modification so that we can interface better with them. So all the burden is on our side. So how convenient is this solution for the customer so that they can adhere and join this solution?
Right. So in that sense, are you talking about the customer being the post, or the customer being
for
the
instance.
post? Sorry, say again.
For instance, when you send or receive something from other country, here in Portugal, everything has to go through the customs, even if it comes from France or whatever. So, for instance, we have a custom department inside our sorting center when things arrive. So, when we communicate with our customers, we have to do all the work on our side because those guys are very they don't like very much to make modifications on their system. So my question is, those APIs do not require any adaptation from the custom side, the entity.
So we directly integrate our APIs with the posts. We do that on export systems and import systems. So a really good example would be AnPost. So on the customs pre-alert that they're receiving from sending posts, we're screening that data. And by that data, we improve that data, and then AnPost then transmit that to the Irish Customs Authority. That has improved a rejection rate from 22% to 83%.
So this solution is to provide better information from a post that has joined the solution to the other counterpart, correct?
Correct. It works all ways. So outbound, inbound operation, transfer of manifest data to customs, pre-alerts, actual data file.
Okay, thank you.
Martin, just a short question. When you do your data enhancement, for instance, data from a retailer, do you just alter it so you just move the data forward, or do you give any feedback in your system towards the shipper about the quality of the data? Because I see usually you forget that part of it.
Yeah, no, but it's a matter of both, because the way our AI engine works, it's constantly learning. And as we all know, some retails have some wonderful descriptions around product. So really good example was one of our customers. They actually do bodybuilding protein type pills, which is a really difficult chemical formula. And they were calling them, stuff like Pro X, Pro One, Pro, which to people outside of that, they had their own sort of like product names. So the customer that we're dealing with, which was actually in the UK, had this customer. And we taught our AI engine, but also recommended for this sort of like bodybuilding protein retailer. That they should really look at their own classification of how they transcribe their data and then pass it to our customer we then translate that into customer descriptions and then HS6 codes and then 10-digit tariff codes for export import. So it's a matter of both, and it's about that community spirit actually, because the more data we put in, the more collaborative both retailers, posts are to the whole system. It constantly learns, and the results get better and better and better. So it's always constantly improving.
Okay, Martin, thank you very much. We've passed the 8 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to invite our next startup, which is TradeTrip. Jacob, that's you, right?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
Let me just share my screen.
Mm-hmm.
Please let me know when you can.
Yes, it's opening. Yeah, we can see the first slide.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my name is Jacob. I am the co-founder of the company, and we have a platform developed which is called TradeTrip. TradeTrip is a cross-border trade platform. In our mind, we have 3 interrelated processes running through any cross-border trade. One relates to movement of cargo. The second is the transfer of money. And the third piece is the movement of trade documents or documents itself, trade documents specifically, probably like trade title documents like bill of lading or airway bill and so on and so forth. So there's one trade transaction. There are 3 processes. Each of them have their own pace. There are different stakeholders, and each of them have their own systems with different levels of maturity. So this is the current cross-border trade ecosystem. Add to this, you have the manual processes and paper documents. So you can understand the complexity of the current ecosystem. Let's just quickly look at 2 use cases related to the ecosystem. We want to verify the authenticity of a trade document, something like a bill of lading. Typically, the information is available inside the country, inside the border, but once it moves outside the border, you really don't have that information end to end. From a money standpoint, the moment you lot of payments or invoicing, financing, or trade finance, most of this happens on top of this documentation. So if you don't have that documentation visibility or authenticity verification, your whole process is a bit on shaky ground. So what we have developed is basically a platform which is built on blockchain technology. We have digitized the platform, digitized the process, but digitized on the blockchain platform. The blockchain platform provides the 3 elements that we feel are very important. One is data immutability. Second is the security through encryption. And third is the privacy and integration, a possible integration with even machines. So if you have an IoT device which tracks the temperature of your medicine across the life cycle or across the process chain, that information can also be logged on the blockchain. And the last bit is around the trust. So we have standards coming out today. For example, the United Nations MLETR articles, the model law on electronic transfer places the title documents across cross-border. So a bill of lading is accepted in Singapore as it is accepted in the Middle East. So there are standards that are coming out. So we've sort of tried to incorporate those articles as well as we build the platform. LEI validation is another one of the validations that we are bringing on. It's a legal entity identifier from the Glyph Foundation. So it identifies entities across the globe with a unique identifier. So this helps in terms of a KYC for a company, if you can put it that way. So we provide transparency of trade by these sorts of tools that we bring in. And this can also be for other databases that can come in future. So I talked about briefly about the technology, blockchain. We have a 2D QR code embedded on the physical document. We recognize that not everyone would have digital documents at the day one. So we have also made provision for handling physical documents. And physical documents, we embed it with a 2D QR code, and you can scan it and you can have the information from the system. We have done also incorporated some text recognition into the platform, again for the same purpose of handling physical documents. A snapshot of the company. Basically, we are 7 computer engineers. Average experience is around 5 years. We have done more than 10 proof of concept projects around the space. We are selected into 2 accelerators, the Port Excel accelerator from Singapore and Singapore Space Technology Accelerator, again in Singapore. The platform is very easy to integrate because we have made it possible to integrate using open APIs. So you just need to connect to the system. You don't need any modification on your customer systems. Just one very short minute to explain the USP. So what we bring is that we are incorporating these standards that we feel are the future. Like ISO 20022 is a data format standard for transfer of information, financial information. UML I mentioned, LEI codes I mentioned. So you can incorporate it with open APIs. There is no customer modification or proprietary software involved. You can verify validity of the company using LEIs or country records or blacklists, all in real time. We have securitized the transactions using a ERC721 NFT token. It's interoperable across partners using APIs. And we hope that this trustless platform can bring in even competing companies to cooperate to transfer cross-border to do cross-border trade. So where are we? We are actually in the process of doing a pilot project. We hope to have a go live by next year. For us, we invite you all to participate in this innovation, which we feel very excited about, and join us in this journey to pilot and demonstrate your business cases with the platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jacob. Back to the judges. Your questions, please.
Hi, Jacob. Marc here, Austrian Post. Thank you for your presentation. Could you please tell me who is your potential customer? Is it a logistics company, a postal company, a shipping company? What kind of customers do you have in mind? And what is your revenue model behind it?
Yeah, so our revenue model is two-pronged. We have a transaction-based model. So for every transaction, we charge a percentage. So that's one part. The second is that we have had some requests from prospective customers for white label solutions. So there's a customer who has a business unit which tracks their banking information, and they wanted that to be on their own system. So that's the second. So we will operate it from a white label solution. Now, coming to the prospective customers, I mentioned 3 components, 3 sets of processes or people with their own processes, with their own systems, who have an interest in cross-border trade. So we feel that there are opportunities for each of these players in a trade lane based opportunity. So it can be from a set of their partners in a particular or in a specific domain or an interest area, or it can be a set of customers or their interested parties along with it. So we see all the 3 components having interest in using the platform.
Okay.
I hope I was able to answer the question.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jacob. Let's move on to the next. Thank you very much, Jacob. Airmail Data.
Yes, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Perfect.
Okay. So I'm gonna share my screen.
Yes,
Perfect.
It's opening.
Okay, that's perfect.
So we see the first slide.
You see the first slide?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let's go. Good afternoon. My name is Luc Lariosens. I am the founder of Leg2.com.
Afternoon, my name is Ocean Lewis and I'm the Business Development Manager of Leg2.com. We're going to present you the solution Airmail Data. Airmail Data is a joint venture, between two French firms, MassCentral.fr and Leg2.com. MassCentral is specialized in data exchange and network creation. At Leg2.com, we are middle mile specialists who offer consulting services and EDI solutions for exchange between post and airlines about mail transportation. Airmail Data is a solution which allows data between designated operators and carriers for cross-border transport. Now, Luc will explain you its value chain.
Managing the information with the carriers is for the post a key success factor for the efficiency of their supply chain. You already know that post and airlines can exchange operational information through the existing UPU standards known as the Cardit-Resdit exchange. This standard is widely used, and Airmail Data is already providing its services to 5 airlines, enabling them to communicate with their postal customers. But we felt that we need to go further, beyond the existing standards, while remaining fully compliant to it. This is why we have initiated the possibility for the post to exchange Cardit and Resdit with the truck company. We already have a customer, a truck company, which is using our solution. We even went further by implementing Airmail Data for sea carriers. One sea company is currently testing our solution. To our knowledge, Airmail Data is the only postal EDI solution which can bring to the post a full visibility on their leg 2 operations, irrespective of the mode of transport. Can we go further? Yes. As you may know, many airlines are reluctant to invest into postal EDI solutions as the postal standards are far different from the general cargo rules. The COVID-19 crisis also showed that Post needs more than ever to multiply their transport solutions and the number of partners ready to carry mail under the UPU standards. The postal airway bill concept is certainly the perfect tool to carry mail as cargo. Airmail Data can obviously propose to the airline a service enabling a conversion of the postal document into IATA airway bills. One customer is currently using our solution. But we can imagine to go beyond this by providing such a service not only to the airlines, but also to the post. At Airmail Data, our ambition is to offer to the post the possibility to organize their self-EDI, especially for those concerned by the forthcoming ICS2 regulation. Again, this is another functionality which will make us different.
But self-EDI is not the only component of our application which makes us different. It seemed obvious to us the market needed an affordable and easy to implement solution. We are the only ones having a product based on subscription, which allows carriers to adapt it according to their need and to the type of transport, whether it be by sea, air, or road. It's also possible to access a multi-channel communication. Airmail Data is the unique solution which offers to do data capture with the use of a smartphone application.
Airmail Data community is already consisting in 7 users, 5 airlines, 1 haulier, and 1 shipping company. And we can't wait to welcome many others to expand the operational visibility of the cross-border e-commerce flows. We really thank you for your attention, and we are open for your question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good. Up to the judges now to ask questions again.
Yeah, this is André. So my question to you is your value added or the value proposition, the fact that you're expanding, I guess, the Resdit and the Cardit information across multi-modes, meaning ground and sea, or is it more around ease of use through APIs and and basically kind of streamlining the process across the different stakeholders?
Yeah, I would say both, because we try to bring as much innovation as possible in this quite old market. You know, the standard has been designed to work between a post and an airline, and it is working perfectly when the relationship is within a postal operator, member of the UPU, and an airline. But the world is not so simple. You've got some private postal operators, and you've got airlines represented by agents. You've got also freight forwarders. You've got general sales agents. The world is much more complex for that. And unfortunately, because of this complexity, it is very difficult for the postal operators to have a full range of visibility through the exchange of message. So we have tried to bring as much innovation as we could on every step of the process. Sure, there is an innovation when we say that we are able to exchange messages. If it is a ground supplier, it's already an innovation. But we try also inside the tool to bring some innovation by creating a friendly internet platform environment. As Ocean said, we also have developed a web smartphone application to make some easy data capture just with a smartphone. So we try to bring innovation both on the process itself and in the application as well.
If I can just follow up, I understand the interaction between, for example, let's say the post and an airline or freight carrier, but to whom are you actually making the sale? Which party do you talk to? Do you talk to both? Do you talk to just one? Who is giving you the revenue of those various parties?
So for the moment, our customers are the carriers themselves, the airlines, the truck company, the sea company. Okay, this is the basic business model of our activity. But our project is to expand this business model by providing the possibility to exchange data with the carriers to the post, directly to the post. This would help to expand our business model and to have the opportunity to expand the size of our market. Today we are providing this kind of service to the carriers because we offer them the possibility to use our platform and to reply to the postal message by RESDIT message. So basically what we offer to the carrier, this is a carded translator. We translate the carded into their own language, and then they can reply by a RESDIT to the postal operators. For doing that, we charge the airline, the truck company, the sea company. But the idea behind is to say, okay, how can we remain compliant with the standard and to offer the possibility to bring such a service to the post in order for them to organize their self-EDI. Why is it important? Because in front of many posts, you have some airlines which are really, really reluctant to invest into the postal EDI solution. The postal documentation is really different from the general cargo documentation. There are huge differences. And as the mail transportation is not the main business of the airlines, it is not their core business. The core business of the airline is to carry general cargo. It is to carry goods. It is not to carry mail. It's a very small part of their activity. And this is why many airlines, and especially the full cargo airlines, they don't really want to invest into a postal EDI solution because it is out of their core business, out of their standards. So what we can propose is to say, okay, if we can propose to the post a solution which make this translation into the airline language, we bring the information to the airline. The airline is bringing back information to us, and we give back this information to the post. We know how to do it technically, so we can give to many posts the opportunity to organize their self-EDI and to receive the data that they are expecting and that at the moment they are struggling to connect.
Okay, no, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luc. Thank you very much for your
Welcome.
presentation and answering the questions.
Thank you.
Let's move on to the next one. We have ArcCreate. Linda, you're there.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. And I'll try to keep the presentation as short as possible so we can really talk afterwards. Do you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. A second. Does it work right now or?
Not yet.
No.
Okay, let's try again.
Well, you did it before, Linda. It worked before when you tested.
It worked before, yes. Let's see.
Yeah, now it's
Does
opening.
it work now?
Yeah,
Great.
it's good. We can see your first slide. Excellent.
Great. Thank you very much. We are Recreate. We call ourselves a clean tech because we are really trying to fight with technical tools the waste, and particularly the waste produced by single-usage packaging. Just in short, we are looking at the problem related to traditional packaging, which comes from e-commerce. And this is something that we decided upon before the COVID crisis, but the COVID crisis actually showed us that this is really, really kind of covering us because people are really ordering extreme much online. And there is a quote here from Jean-Claude Juncker, which said that by 2030, the packaging must be reusable or recyclable. And we know the European Union is really fighting in the direction of really using a lot of regulatory tools to minimize single-usage packaging. And there are other pain points, right? From the e-commerce perspective, in aesthetic over packaging, air transport, it is one of the issues that they are always fighting because postal and courier services are charging for that. Lack of protection. From the perspective of the customer, of the e-shopper, there's too much garbage to throw. We started this business in Romania, and Romania has a very bad collection system, waste collection system. So this is really has been seen on the streets in the month of March, I think. It was really flooded with carton from online orders. There are problems with the recycling, as I was saying, and also there's complicated returns. So these are the topics that we want to address. The best solution to fight traditional single-usage packaging is reusable packaging. And what does this mean? It means you have to look at what is the best physical way to replace cardboard and single-usage packaging. But also you have to create a process which takes this packaging back, whether they are boxes, they are bags. So this is the part that we are really focused on. You will see here, there's a snapshot of the blueprints that we looked at, because everyone is asking, okay, how is this bag coming back or box? And it's simple, it's really, we created different flows depending on the best customer experience, the best e-shopper experience. We are, for example, working together with one of our shareholders, which is one of the biggest recycling companies in Romania. And we know what we need to make, to give people, what type of incentive you need to give people to really do something in order to kind of collect, no matter if it's just some waste or something that will be reused. So we do go on different flows, and I will explain later what are the flows that we are looking at. So in order to really create an alternative, scalable alternative to single-usage packaging, you need to kind of have three things. You need to have the hardware, we call it. And here it's really about physics, right? And I put here some pictures of the current solutions on the market, startups which you probably are aware of. They are really working on how to create the best bag or box in order to transport things, such different things that are sold through e-commerce. Then you need to have some type of post or courier system in order to create a return process, be it branches that people are going to, e-shoppers are going to, or couriers which are picking up the bags or boxes from home. But you need to have this second player, let's say. It's very important. And of course, you are the representatives of such players in the jury. And the third part, which is the part that we are focusing on, is the information system, which is automating this whole process, and it's calculating how much packaging each of these e-commerces still needs, considering how much they use, and so on. So we are basically kind of outsourcing their inventory. How does it work? This is just a scheme of the platform we are now developing, so it is under development. We are putting together information from a few sources. One is the e-commerce stores. The e-commerce stores give an information in our system related to whether delivery has been made or not with a reusable packaging. We are in Romania collecting this information through the integrators, which have already the communication with the couriers. The other side is you need to have some type of package producer, let's say, which has to receive some money for the work they do because they are depreciating. They need to depreciate, of course, their hardwares, let's say. And then you have the logistic operator, which has to earn a fee each time one of these packaging is returned. What do the e-commerces get for that? Of course, they get a lower environmental impact. We did calculate that, and somewhere between 1 and 10 first cycles, the production of such packaging, which is of course stronger than the single usage, is cancelled out in terms of carbon footprint. They have better operational KPIs because our packages are optimized. As I said, we do the inventory. They don't need to order when they are out of the boxes or bags. Returns are easier, there's less space blocked in the warehouse, and of course you can do a very clear life cycle analysis of the packages that you put in the economy. This is just a summary of what is now on the market in terms of reusable packaging as we see it. You have a lot of Nordic startups which are working, as I said, on the best kind of solution, physical solution. The way they work, as far as we know, is they work really as a marketing tool, because in order to use, as a consumer, in order to use such a packaging, you need to pay something like 4 to 5 euros, and you will get this back as a discount to the next order to that specific website, but not from somewhere else. So it's really one-to-one relation. Of course, this increases loyalty to the store, but it's not very scalable. Then you have the loop model, which is in the US pretty much doing a lot of research. And what they do is they do packaging for e-commerce, but also the primary packaging. They're really focused on doing the primary packaging so that the effect is, of course, bigger on waste created from single usage packaging. But this is only accessible through the Loop online store. We have thought of all these things, and we really asked ourselves, why aren't all these models really scalable? And we think actually this automation and this platform behind is really the reason and the place where this business could go really on a scalable level and become a real option to single usage packaging. So we would go as far as saying that with our solution and with the help of the posts that would partner with us, we would go to the budget to offer e-commerces an option which is affordable and comparable to what they pay right now for single usage packaging. Just a short description of how we monetize. We charge a fee per usage. Each time such a physical solution is used, we charge a fee. Our platform sees this and distributes it to the players in the ecosystem. So it would be something that is going to the producer of the bag, something which is going to the postal system. You see there Easy Green. Easy Green is actually the kind of postal entity we have the most collaboration with right now. We discuss most with them. They are the DHL kind of innovation department. So that's DHL. There is, of course, the system behind, and that's how we earn our markup. So each time there's a fee per usage, we earn a small markup each time a packet, such a package is used. You see here just a few words about us. We are a pretty slim team. We come from consulting background, actually, management consulting. I'm still working, collaborating with A.T. Kearney. And we do have an expert team of, let's say, gray hair people, which have experience in all the sides that we have to handle, packaging, logistics, materials, and so on. Just a bit of our history. We actually started by getting an award in Romania, an Impact Hub, which was awarded by Pepsi to us. And we started creating the ecosystem. So first we didn't start on developing any IT, but we actually did a bag. That's why we are called the reusable system bag. We did a bag that we tried on a bookstore to see whether it really holds the books in the logistics process and if the customers are happy. And we actually realized it was really successful. So since then, we are actually working with a client for normal business, day-to-day business. This is this biggest bookstore in Romania called Cărturești. Starting April this year, we started actually developing this platform. So it is under work right now. We received the seed funding sometimes at the end of last year. And what you don't see in this slide, there is another pilot that we started in Austria, actually in May this year. And the newest thing, which we found out a few days ago, is that IKEA has chosen us as a potential partner in an incubator about the future of packaging that they will start end of August. So this is just to give you an idea of basically that we worked on all sides of creating such a process, not just the IT part. This is just a small snapshot of what we did and how the process really works on the bookstore. There is a checkout point in on the website of this bookstore. And there's a small description of what customers have to do. In this case, customers have only to return the empty bag after they take their products from the bookstore. And we have to say there's a constant adoption rate of 10%, even if they have to pay additionally for it. And the process really works very smoothly. So we think there is a market for this, in short. We are now really focusing on how to create good use cases relevant for the customers by discussing with postal companies. Here there's a small picture with real data of what are the verticals that we can accommodate right now with the solutions, the physical solutions that we have right now. And why would this make sense for postal companies? Well, there's a new revenue stream on the current infrastructure. There will never be a last mile created just to collect a bag. So it's really using the existing capacity. There's optimization of the carbon footprint. And of course, there's the option to capitalize on the B2C, on the final consumer customer base. So we are now in the stage where we are really looking for partners, test clients and mentors to take us further. We want to be a European company, even if we started in Romania and now we are doing the first steps in Austria. So the question is if you are willing to go with us into the journey. And I hope I wasn't very, very long. So please.
Thank you very much, Linda. I mean, it was very clear. Thank you very much. You went way beyond 8 minutes, however, so we won't have time for any questions, unfortunately. But okay, you were very clear and specific in your presentation. Thank you very much. We have to move on to the next startup, which is HelloDone. Who will make the presentation?
So yeah, hi, I'm Sean from HelloDone. I'm the general manager for post-purchase. I've got my colleague Andrew Goff with me today, who you might recognise from the Discovery Channel, because he does a few programmes on that. So keep your eyes peeled for him. Andy, I'll hand straight over to you because again we're up against the time.
Great, thank you, Sean. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, it's coming in. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, good day, everyone. My name is Andrew Goff. I'm head of sales for HelloDone. I'm here with my colleague Sean Sherwin-Smith, who is the general manager of post-purchase. Sean will help answer some of the questions after this presentation. Conversational commerce experience in the final mile. Over the next several minutes, we hope to emphasize why we think the element of conversation is so vital to postal innovation today. I'm going to start with a view of the final mile customer experience, and we all know this really well, right? It's not just complex for the customer, it's complex for the retailer and the carrier. So the question is, how do you create innovation in an environment with so many moving parts, both literally and figuratively? So add to this the global pandemic and the intermittent lockdown, add to this the UK Brexit and cross-border issues and the emphasis on accessibility while reducing emissions. So how do you handle that? You know, HelloDone is a startup based in the UK who offers a AI NLP-powered conversational agent that lets customers ask questions about their orders and returns 24 hours a day in plain English, most significantly from the messaging channel where they're living their digital lives. And that's our innovation, because HelloDone provides all the carrier integrations. We're able to offer a virtual three-way conversation so the consumer can interact with the retailer and the carrier from a place where they're already accustomed to interacting: Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, or even voice. And the value is that the retailer will reduce cost by not having to address these more mundane questions like, where is my order? Where is my refund? Will respond to all of those. They'll be able to have their people respond to the more high value and complex issues. And thus the impact of that is that everybody wins. The retailer is saving money, but also driving revenue on a new channel. The customer has never had such good, seamless customer experience, and they're giving the retailer and the carrier more 5-star reviews, less one-star reviews. But also the carrier creates more stickiness with the retailer because the experience is better, and complicated features such as in-flight can now be invoked in plain English. And this is how it works. This is our conversational agent. Starting on the left, you can authenticate once and only once if you have a question about your order, put in the email that you used to make the purchase. Then you can sign up for preferences, and then you can start asking questions, not only about FAQs, but about your order. Where is my refund? Where is my return? Where is my order? Or, you know what? I'm not going to be in today. So in plain English, invoke things like in-flight, which can be really complicated if you have to go to a carrier page and try to activate that. Second to the right, if you have a complex question that's too long or just too complicated, it can be escalated seamlessly to a live agent in channel and then back again. And finally, because we recognize sentiment, gratitude, and we know what emojis mean, we can offer up a marketing asset at a meaningful point in the conversation over a span of several days that will drive customers back to the website, where they will convert at a much higher rate than they normally would. So in summary, all these customers and more have reported to us that the reason that they've chosen HelloDone are, we're sustainable. We're offering 14% fewer missed deliveries based upon that conversational element of that real time of, hey, I'm not going to be in today, or how about you leave it there? Loyalty, not only for the retailer and the carrier, but the consumer is going to click through from this conversation where they're tracking their order back to the website at a rate of 24%, which is exponentially higher than the industry standard. So it's also a new revenue channel for the retailer. And lastly, and perhaps most importantly, is the efficiency of all the conversational agent conversations about where's my order, where is my return. We're going to answer 80% or more of those without human intervention. So these reasons and many others, but all focusing around the element of conversation, are what we think could be valuable in postal innovation today. The full demo you can find with this QR code. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, up to the judges to ask questions. Go ahead.
Thank you, Andrew. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Andrew. So is there any limitation in regards of interaction? Can you interact also with voice and SMS? And if you do, is there any limitation to the countries your platform can work?
It's a great question. I'm going to invite Sean in to answer a lot of these sorts of questions. Sean?
Hi, Gustavo. So yeah, I mean, our main point of existence is that we use natural language processing. So regardless of platform that you want to use, we can power those conversations. So we're actually the chat agent that sits in the background. So, for example, we're doing a pilot with one of the big carriers at the moment, where we're going to be powering the conversation over their applications chat facility. We're working with a number of retailers on WhatsApp. We do a number with Messenger. We've got another retailer who's got their own chat application who they want us to power that conversation, because the key thing we have is the natural language processing and the AI that sits in the background that interprets the question the customer's asking, and then being able to respond in that kind of natural, almost human way. So it's not like a chatbot where it's very prescribed question for a very prescribed answer. It's very fluid and very natural.
Okay, but
we also support voice as well. So Alexa, Google, which just went off as I said that.
okay. Well, real conversation, like somebody call you on your phone to say your package is about to deliver. I mean,
yes,
and the interaction between the telephone networks. That's
very similar. But we do recommend to all our customers that you state that you're talking to an artificial intelligence. We've got one customer in Manchester who delivers beer same day to customers around Manchester. And once they've had a few drinks and they're ordering another round of drinks or another crate of beer, we've seen some very interesting conversations going on with the agent. It gets quite amusing.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Andrew, for the pitch. I wanted to ask actually if there is some communication issue with the boat. Is a human jumping into the conversation, and does it happen live?
Yeah, so we have two real methods of integration with what we call wetware or humans. So when you're having a conversation with the agent, if at any point our complexity filter kicks in, so if it's a very long, complex question, you know, our AI on natural language processing is good, but it's not infallible. So you could automatically ask, I want to speak to a human, or if it's a very complex question, we pick up on that complexity and we then offer to hand you over to an agent. So we generally find for short pilots, customers don't want to do a great big integration piece with a CRM system. So we simply capture the last 15 minutes of the conversation, turn that into an email with the contact details of the customer and hand that through as a ticket on the CRM system. Or as we're just working on currently with one large customer, actually integrating so that we can hand over in channel. So you could talk, so in this example, they're talking to the agent in Messenger. When we hit that complex question, we actually hand over and a human agent can pick that up in Messenger, still in the branded Messenger channel of, let's say, someone like Nike. The human agent can pick that up and then hand you back to the HelloDone agent once that conversation or once that query has been resolved.
All in channel.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Perfect. Thank you very much, Andrew and Sean. Thank you very much. Time is over and we have to move to the next presentation, which is also the last one of today. It's Countercheck. We have here Phil. Are you going to make the presentation?
I shall, yes. I just share my screen with you guys.
Yeah, and it's opening. It's working good. We can see it. Go ahead.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's extended there. So yeah, I'm Phil. I am the co-founder of Countercheck. On the call together with my co-founder Fatih Unver, and we are Countercheck, and we are the first anti-counterfeiting technology for brands and logistics firms, a problem which represents 3.3% of global trade, and obviously that keeps getting worse with the growth of e-commerce. Diving straight into the problem, there's a huge issue with counterfeit producers and brands using the same methods to get their products to market. There's no logistics solution to block counterfeit goods getting to end consumers. Here we have a deep dive into the problem. On the left, we have a Chanel bag for 3,500 euros bought on the Chanel website. On the right, we have a AliExpress counterfeit version for 37 euros. The key thing is here that they're both sold online, and they're both delivered to the consumer here in Europe using postal services, whether it's DHL, DPD, La Poste. They're all complicit in this. How do we know they're complicit? Well, global brands are telling us that there's a problem, and they're all saying they want a solution. We spoke with some of the leading brands who have this problem, and they're all saying to us they have the same thing. It's a huge problem and growing, coming from China mainly, and no solution in the vertical. The only people that are kind of looking at it is customs, and with dwindling budgets, they're seizing intercepting less than 1% of counterfeit coming through. So we decided to solve the problem with a KYC, or Know Your Customer software, for logistics firms and brands. We say our solution is broken down into 3 areas. On the left, we have the pre-catch, in the center, the catch, and we round it off with after catch. Coming back to the pre-catch, this is Countercheck, and this is how we use our machine learning powered AI technology in conjunction with brands, and we install this technology in sortation centers of logistics firms coming into the center here. We cross-reference every parcel coming through with our AI and sideload the parcel once we detect and find the counterfeit goods. On the right, we complete the circle by interacting with customs. Here in Berlin, it will be Zoll, for example, where we can pass the parcel over to customs, who seize and potentially destroy the package. How do we make this possible? Well, by partnering with logistics firms and OEMs, or original equipment manufacturers of sortation systems. We already have a partnership with Toime Group, who are one of the largest manufacturers of sortation equipment, which allow us to take our solution to market quickly. Toime Group have over 800 sortation centers in their network globally, giving us a real run at this. So what it is, the technology would be on the sortation center, is we install our software on the OCR reader of the sortation conveyor belt. The OCR, or the camera, otherwise known, scans every parcel, and if there's a percentage chance of a parcel is above a certain % threshold counterfeit, our software gives the order to sideload the parcel to the relevant chute, and we deal with customs from there. We give logistics firms the benefit. Sorry, we give logistics firms a benefit from dealing with us. They're not our customers here; they're our partners. So we wanted to make a compelling business proposition for them to engage with us. So we developed a revenue generator for logistics firms, which simply put means that they will receive a reward, for a monetary reward, for every parcel, every counterfeit parcel that is caught on their sortation device. Critically, there's no extra labor for logistics firms, no investment needed, or no additional hardware. We can do it all remote, especially through our partners, the Toime Group. In 2021, it's key that firms are socially responsible, and we give that power to logistics firms. They are protecting the brands that they're dealing with. So if we have luxury brands on board, the luxury brands are more likely, potentially, well, logistics firms are telling us that, brands are telling us that they're more likely to use logistics firms that are actively protecting their IP, that are actively stopping versions of their counterfeit goods coming through. So there's a commercial benefit there for logistics firms with their real delivery partners. Coming back to the brands themselves, we give brands full power over what they're catching. They can see where in the world their parcels, counterfeit parcels, are being stopped, how many is being stopped, and which ports are the real culprits for this. Our brand provides the missing link that brands. Sorry, our missing link provides the brands the benefits that the brands want. We're the first proactive tool in this area that can actively reach into the supply chain of counterfeit goods and take them out. And critically, brands are telling us that they love the fact that we're in line with their brand identity. There's no obtrusive marks or stickers on their products from our solution, which is very important to leading brands. It's a huge market. There are 25 million counterfeit parcels in a single month in the EU alone, affecting many industries, luxury brands, right through to toys, pharma, automotive. They're all affected by this, making our serviceable, obtainable market around 50 million euros. So it's a huge market for us to run at. To capture this giant market, we have designed a performance-driven business model towards the brands, with a flat subscription rate and a pay per seizure model, depending on the volume that they're seizing. We're the first to be able to focus on logistics firms stopping fake goods. Of course, there are lots of solutions in the supply chain, whether it be law firms or marketplace scanners or customs solutions like React. But we're the first to be able to sit in the logistics area to block the road for counterfeit goods. Where are we today? So we were funded in March, and from there we put our foot to the floor and developed the software and the algorithm. We have populated our database with information to generate the machine learning for our AI. And in May, we kicked off our pilot project with 8 leading brands, global brands. And we have a pilot partnership running with DPD Netherlands, which kicks off next month. We will have results by the end of September, at which point we plan to launch this fully on the market. So thank you for taking the time to listen, and it would be great if you had any questions.
We have time for one question. Who wants to move? André, please.
I have a question. I guess I think there's no doubt that there's demand for capturing counterfeits. But your customers are probably the brands. You want to partner with the logistics companies, the carriers. You're acting on behalf of customs. I'm assuming you need to, I guess, some kind of authority. Otherwise, you're kind of a vigilante. In some countries, you may not be able to open a package. I'm just wondering, how's this going to work? And do you need some kind of validation from some customs organization for you to be able to do this on a country-by-country basis?
Yes, we do. Customs are a key part of this, and we've already validated it with several customs here in Europe. We're initially just looking at Europe. We're looking to create a firewall around Europe to block counterfeit goods coming in. Of course, then we can move to North America, Asia, Australasia from there, but we want to start it here in Europe. You're right, the logistics firms are our partners, not our customers, and they compel, what's driving them to use us is the fact that their brands are using our service as a buying criteria to choose which ones they go with, as well as we can also use our technology to stop other goods coming through, whether it's dangerous goods or tobaccos or firearms. We can use our technology to stop the same thing. So there's also added benefits which are compelling logistics firms to use us.
I have one question more, if possible.
Okay, Joao, go ahead. One last question.
Okay, thank you. This is very interesting and very exciting, this solution. But so you didn't give many details about the algorithm. Of course, I understand why that can detect the fake from the real ones. But it can happen. This is a question, not a statement. It can happen that the algorithm identifies something as fake, but in really it is real. So what is, and this can be catastrophic. So how do you deal with this situation?
So we have a Countercheck facilitator located on site at the logistics firm. So as soon as the parcel is sideloaded, we can evaluate whether or not it is counterfeit or not instantaneously. So if it's not, we get it straight back on the conveyor, on the sortation system, and it's delivered to the consumer on time.
And this can be adapted to other suppliers of sorting machines like Siemens?
Absolutely. We're totally OEM agnostic, supplier agnostic here.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Perfect. Thank you very much, Phil. Thank you. So this was the last pitch. So we had our 6 pitches for today. Does any of the judges want to say some final remarks, maybe to the startups that we have heard here today? Any comments? Any remarks, if any?
Well, for me, that this was the first time that I'm participating in this type of event with Benar. and I found very interesting all of the 6 startups. So good choice and very good presentations. Thank you all for your very excellent presentations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joao. I can just repeat what he just said. Really, thank you very much to the startups that you have joined and that you have submitted your proposals. I think all those solutions that we have seen today, but also from the 2 sessions that we already had, really very high quality solutions that fit in to the various processes and different areas of application that postal logistics delivery companies are facing. And I really want to thank you for sharing them here with us. I also want to thank, of course, our judges. They did a great job, but the biggest job is still waiting for them, because I don't want to be in your shoes, to be quite frank, to choose here the 3 top ones that will be selected for the finals, but you're going to do that right after this session here. I also would like to thank the participants on the YouTube live stream that joined. Once again, today still we'll make public the 3 ones that are chosen as finalists for Vienna for Postal and Post Expo. This will be published today, as well as the video of this session, so you can rewatch the session, all the participants, as well on YouTube live stream. If you have joined later, you can watch the entire session later on today. It will be on our YouTube channel, but I'll send out anyway a notification for that. Again, thank you very much to everybody. I'll now switch off the YouTube live stream, and I'd also like all the startups also to quit the meeting room here, because this meeting room will now only be used by the judges, who will deliberate and have the tough time to choose the 3 finalists. Thank you very much to everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye-bye.